Hello, my Stampin' friends. This is Linda Solomon with Stamp with Linda, and I'm looking forward to showing you the sunburst technique. It was shown recently. Actually, yesterday I found it from another demonstrator using the Oso Ombre Designer Series paper, which is in the sale-a-bration catalog, which ends on February 28th. So there's only about 9 days left to get this for free with a $50 purchase. This happens to be the Blackberry Bliss, and it's an ombre. You can see how it shaded, graduate color on it. It's got granny apple green on one side. It's got Blackberry Bliss on the other. We're going to use a Blackberry Bliss. It also comes in Bermuda Bay and Rococo Rose. So let me show you what we're going to do with it. We're going to make this card right here. And as you can see, it really gives quite a striking sunburst because of the reverse of the ombre stripes. It almost looks like it's got a glossy finish to it, even though it's very flat. So very cool technique, and I'm going to show you. You can also use regular designer series paper, and I'll show you a sample of that afterwards. But I want to show you the basics using this paper to start with. So let's get started. We're going to take our paper, and we only need a 1.5 by 4.5 strips for this. So as you can see, there's a big dark end here. So we kind of want to get rid of that, a little bit of that. So we're going to cut that off at 1.5, and then we're left with our 4.5 length, and then we're going to cut 4 strips, each 1.5. We're going to put this off to the side, so we'll use that paper later. But we're going to cut 1.5 and put it off to the side. Another 1.5. Like this, and then our third cut will be for another 1.5. So we'll end up with 4 strips of 1.5 by 4.5. Now you want to keep them all in the same direction while you do the triangle cuts. So and you want to cut them all the same. So you're going to start with your left corner on the top in the track, and then your right corner, and look at that, how it's perfectly lined up from the first cut. And then because you want to be consistent with which direction the triangles are cutting, because they're not perfect triangles. And you're going to cut that one, and this one, like this, and then this one right here. So once we get our 4, we're gonna keep our trimmer. So we end up with 4 with the light on the top, and we got 4 with the dark on the top. Perfect match. So those will be the strips that we use. Now let me find my 3x5, because we're going to mount those on a 3x5 sheet. But in order to know where we should definitely do the thing, we're going to put this in at 2.5, because that's half of 5. And then we're going to take our pencil, and we're going to put a line down. Let's see if I got that dark enough. There you go. And the pencil mark's not going to matter, because we're going to be covering it for the rest of this. So let's put these off to the side, and then we're going to alternate. And I'm going to start with the dark one first, and we're going to use our Tombow glue for this. So you're going to kind of put glue in like a triangle shape. And again, you don't need too much, but I'm using this because then you're able to move the piece around at the beginning if you need to. So like you see, I got to move that to line it up. And then for our next strip, we're going to take one that has the light at the top. And I'll show you that in a minute here. So we have dark and then the light. or you look at the point and you go light to dark. however it makes it easier to look at it. Now, if you're using regular DS Designer Series paper, it's not such a big deal, but this is for this kind of great sunburst look. You want to do it this way. Then we're going to take one with a dark at the top, put it up in here, and then we're going to go a light. Just like this. So that's one side done. Oh, let's see, we're going to slide it over. Now, when you're doing the sunburst technique, you can also leave spaces in between if you want. So you want to pay attention to what color is underneath. For this purpose, it doesn't matter because we're covering the whole thing, so I could have used any color underneath. Now we're going to work on this side, and again, alternate our dark and light. So we have dark there, so we're going to use light, just like this. And then we're going to do another dark at the top. So we'll take this, like this, whoops, and then go for another light, and then finally a dark. Like I said, this paper in itself is only available until February 28th. But you may, ombres, it has been a big thing, so you may have paper that has this ombre look. So you just have to pay attention to what your cutting directions are. Now, the other thing is, if you're using a different size paper, like say you were using 3.5 by 4.5 or 3.5 by 5.5 rather, the key is you want your strip, this is 4.5, you want it to be as long as this. Like this measures 4 inches, so you need it a little, so 4.5 gives you a little bit of growing room, so you just added a 1/2 inch. So I hope that helps to see that. We're going to let that dry for a brief second, so we'll take our card base and we'll fold this over, and we'll get our bone folder to make sure it's straight like that. We're not going to put this piece on yet because we're going to put probably some ribbon on, so we'll put that off to the side. Now we're going to take this and we're going to cut all the way around to cut off all these extra things. Again, you could probably do it on your Stampin' Trimmer, but I always feel I cut better with, especially for these short pieces here, that I like cutting them with scissors anyway. I feel like I almost like I have more control, so to speak. So there we go, all the way around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for our 2 biggest pieces. So I think those would be these 2 right here. And then, oops, I'm going to do the other one. There we go. This one right here. And then we're going to put these on. We're going to put this one here like this, and this one on this side like this. And we'll have a little bit in the middle, but we're going to cover that, so we don't need to worry about that. But it helps, that we're using this, we're using up a lot of this 1 6x6 sheet of paper, which is kind of cool. So again, we're going to line this up here, on here, and then we're going to put this here. You don't want the glue all the way to go into the center because we already know we're going to have an empty space there. And it just makes everything sticky. So let's see, we get this lined up here. Looks like a kind of a cool design there. Let that dry a little brief second. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to put this on here like this. And then we have our our starburst. Then we're going to mount it on our 5 1/4 by 4 sheet of smoky slate. Could have done white, but I really like, for some reason I like purple and gray together. So the Blackberry Bliss with the smoky slate was just calling to me, and I wanted the lighter gray versus the basic gray. Now we're going to put some ribbon around it. If you don't want to use white, but you have white ribbon, you can take your blends and color the ribbon so it matches the paper. I kind of like the white, so I'm going to stick with the white for this one. But always remember that if you've got something white, you can use your blends to color it. So we're just going to take a little glue dot here and put it on the end of the ribbon. Whoops. Just put it on the end there. Put it on the side here. Wrap it around. And we'll pull the ribbon down here. Cut it. I gotta get my ribbon scissors. Now let's get another glue dot. So put that on the back side of the ribbon here. Cut it over here like this. Now we're going to tape it up here with some adhesive. Mount it on our card base. Let's move that out of the way. And mount it on here. Okay, so now we have part of the card, but we got to put something at our peak of our starburst. So this we're going to use for the decorations. So we will use our layering ovals dies. We'll put this one on here. I think this will fit. Maybe not. Let's try the bigger sheet here. So we'll put that through there. But we also have to take a piece of white. We're going to use our Massive Thanks and our Blackberry Bliss ink. And we're going to ink up the stamp, put it on our cardstock, our white cardstock. Well, I should have tried to do it with the gray this time, but I've got the white ribbon, so it's gonna match really well with that. And I have my washi tape on here because we don't want it to slide, because I did one without the washi tape before and it slid. So I'm just trying to be protective here. Let's move that off to the side. We're going to bring the big stamping cut machine in. These are our plates. And we'll put our, oh, see, already I can tell my Massive Thank You is shifted. And then we're going to put this on here. We'll cut the background on it, and then we're just going to run them through. And I apologize for the shaking camera. I just don't really have a stable location to do this on. Our paper. Our dies off to the side, our extra paper. And then we're going to put our Massive Thank You. Take our extra washi tape off of it. Adhesive here. Mount it on our scallop oval. And we're going to put some dimensionals underneath it. So we'll do our, pop it up, give it a little bit of dimension. And then put it on our card like this. Now, that looks pretty good just just the way it is that way, but we could step it up a little bit and put our put some butterflies on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this strip of that was left over, that 1.5 inch strip, and I'm going to take my Versamark and my butterflies from the Butterfly Gala set, which is right here, Butterfly Gala. Got a couple different butterflies. And I'm going to, let me do it upside down here. So I'm going to ink up the big one and put it on here. And I'm going to ink up the little one, the baby butterfly. Ink that over here. Then we're going to bring in our embossing powder, which is, what did I do with that little jar? There we go. We'll just put this on here. Now I didn't use my embossing buddy, and I hope I don't regret that decision. Yeah, I might regret that decision not using my embossing buddy, because I think I'm going to have a lot of extra. I got extra here. Well, it should be all right. So we got that all embossed in white. Now we're going to turn on our embossing gun and get it nice and hot. And watch as it does its magic. And as you can see, you can tell when it's embossed because it changes it from a dull white to a bright white. No longer has the powdery look. So there, we got our beautiful butterflies. And we're going to take the butterfly punch that goes along with this stamp set. And we're going to punch out our baby butterfly. I'm going to line up and punch up. Let's punch the big one. Punch the bigger, larger butterfly. And see, we've only got a little tiny piece of that left too, along with these little strips. So we used quite a bit of the paper, which is a nice thing. We don't have waste. Now, you'll also see that there's bubble paper in here. And I've punched out, I've done other butterflies for another card that I did using the bubble to put this paper on the card as well. So I could do that too. Let's just see. Let's see what we got here. So if I punch out the butterfly there, and then I can punch over here a little butterfly. And then I've used that whole strip. So the whole strip was used this time. Then we're going to take our bone folder. I'll do it on these just in case. Remember, this is designer paper, so it's thinner, so don't pull too hard. On the last card I did, I pulled too hard even on the cardstock, and I ripped it. Just kind of, just like you would twirl ribbon at Christmas time on your gifts, and then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. So put a dimensional on the baby dimensionals, and then we'll use some of the larger dimensionals. There's one here, and one here. We'll bring our card back in. See, we could have put these on here as well, which are very cute. Or we use these butterflies. Since I've already taped these, I think we'll use these. I think we'll put I think I'll mix it up and put this on this side this time. And then put this the baby, over on this side. But we're not done yet. We're gonna put some gems on there. If I can find where I put them. There we go. So now we have our little metallic pearls. And because we've got gray here, I'm going to use the silver ones. I'm just going to take the silver pearls. And these are nice and little. And I was going to use my pick a tool, but unfortunately I'm out of the stuff that goes on the sticky part, the pickup part of the tool. What have we got there? It looks like it's on the, must be some leftover glue from the pearl. Oh dear. All right, let's not play with that one anymore. Let's just do another one. Oh, now maybe I can pick it up because it's right side up. There we go. And there you have it. So thanks for joining me and seeing the sunburst. Oh, wait a minute before I go. Let me just show you. Oh, here I got the butterflies going in the other side versus this side. Here I have some butterflies. Here I have using the polka dots and using the Bermuda Bay. Then I used some old designer paper, and this was part of a celebration pack from a couple years ago, I think. And it's kind of a mottled yellow, so that kind of gives a little bit of a different look to a straight sun. And then these butterflies were in butterfly paper. I think that was last year's, that used the butterfly punch to punch out. So that was a good thing. But the other thing I want to show you is here is using just regular designer paper for the same technique. So here I use 4 different patterns from the Dandy Garden designer paper. So like I tried to explain when I was cutting, I just cut a 1.5 by 4.5 of this. So I used one part of it and that part, and the same for the other colors. And that's all you needed was those 4 1.5 by 4.5 pieces of designer paper. You could also do it with, if you wanted to do a rainbow with, you know, just cardstock. There's a whole lot of different options that you can do. So hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to seeing you again at some point. Thanks a lot.